Have you ever wondered why some days feel so heavy, like an eternity? How many times have you stood behind darkened windows, watching the raindrops fall, each one reflecting a hidden tear in your heart? You look around and see the ambitious dreams you once painted with your own hands reduced to rubble, or to torn exam papers proclaiming your defeat. In these moments, the world seems a cold and harsh place, familiar paths transform into terrifying labyrinths, and the challenges before you become towering, impenetrable fortresses. You fall to your knees in the arena of life, feeling the pain gnawing at your body and rock, the audience having left the stands, leaving no one to hear your cry. This loss, this fear of failure, this weight pressing down on your chest makes you ask yourself, am I really that weak? Were all my previous attempts just an illusion? Yes, falling is painful, admitting defeat tears at the soul, and sitting alone in the darkness of your room makes you think the finish line has been crossed. Lost forever, and your story has written its final chapters in heartbreak. But wait a moment, listen to this stillness that surrounds you. In the deepest darkness, something is beginning to stir. Look at that hard, cold pavement, how a tiny green sprout has broken through it, emerging into the light, defying all the laws of gravity and concrete. Hope doesn't always come with thunderous cries or an earthquake that changes the course of the universe in an instant. It comes as a very faint whisper in the corners of your weary mind. It comes in the form of an old memory or warm words from someone who believed in you when you doubted yourself. A hand reaches out to brush the dust from your shoulders, or a simple message reminding you of a promise you made to yourself once. Turn to the mirror, look closely into your eyes. Behind the tears, behind the weariness, don't you see that tiny ember that refuses to be extinguished? It is your true identity, the spirit of the warrior that never died, but was waiting for this very moment. When you realize that you were not created to be merely a victim of circumstances, that's when the perspective changes, and the features of your face transform from abject surrender to fierce determination. It is the spark that tells you, rise. For the battle is not over, after. And now, the real battle begins, the battle against laziness, against doubt, and against every voice that ever told you you couldn't. Here, behind closed doors, in the late hours of the night when the world is fast asleep, the lamps of ambition ignite. You grab your pen and study until ideas burn in your head. You tie your shoes with the first rays of dawn and run through the empty streets, your mind focused only on the finish line. You smear your hands with paint and rewrite equations on the blackboard until you are drenched with sweat and exhaustion. It doesn't matter how many times you stumble. It doesn't matter if your fingers bleed as you play or fight, because every blow you take today sharpens your armor for tomorrow. This is true effort. This is the sacrifice that the incapable cannot comprehend. You don't wait for a miracle. You create the miracle with your own hands, your sweat, and your patience. The walls that seemed impossible begin to crumble before the relentless blows of your determination. The massive boulder you couldn't move yesterday, today you push with all your might and resolve to cast it behind you. Move forward. Press on. Your pain is for those who surrender, and glory only opens its doors to those who break them. Look to the horizon. The sun is finally rising. There you are, crossing the finish line, your hands raised to the sky, tears streaming down your face, but this time they are tears of pride and triumph. You stand before your canvas, your project, or in the lecture hall, and everyone stands in respect and appreciation of your effort and perseverance. You turn back, look at that weak, weeping person you were at the beginning, and smile gratefully, because it was their suffering that forged today's hero. You climbed the mountain, you reached the summit they once said was impossible, and now you breathe the air of freedom and victory. You rebuilt your broken sword and made it stronger, and you opened doors that were once closed to you. Your story is now an inspiration, and a light illuminating the darkness of others. Always remember, with all your heart, greatness is not a gift bestowed upon the lucky, nor is it a path strewn with roses. Greatness is a decision you make in your darkest moments when you refuse to die in surrender and choose to fight and conquer. And now, take a deep breath and raise your head. And create the glory you deserve.